Hey there, this is Amy from tintacrefarm.com, and I'm talking about organic soil ingredients for building garden beds. And I told you guys that I was using three main ingredients. I was using organic composted cow manure, which you can see here in this wheelbarrow. I'm using a store-bought, like a commercial organic compost product, which you can see here in this yellow bucket. Nice, rich, dark color. And then I'm also using organic composted wood chips, which you can see here in this orange bucket. Those are my three main ingredients. And I'm supplementing that with my own homemade compost, which you can see here in the black bucket, and my own homemade worm castings, which you can see here in the small bucket. Now, the thing about choosing ingredients for your garden beds is that you want to be really aware of the moisture content of the ingredients that you're mixing, because I have a lot of people ask me, so Amy, can I just use straight up compost? Well, that depends. Even high quality compost made in different locations using different materials is going to produce a different type of result. So, like for example, if I look at the compost in this yellow bucket, if I put it in my hand and I squeeze it, it's nice and rich and dark, and I know that it's a good quality compost, but it falls apart in my hand. It's pretty powdery, and so you can see that its moisture content is not very high. If I make a bed only of this stuff, chances are good that my plants are gonna dry out pretty fast, and it's probably gonna be really hard to grow things from seed because things are gonna dry out. And so, I started out mixing my garden beds where I was putting, a few wheelbarrows full of the manure, and then a few wheelbarrows full of the wood chips, composted wood chips, and then topping the bed with this compost. But I realized that the compost is actually, it's super good quality, but like I said, it's really dry. And so when I look at these composted wood chips, they've got a pretty good moisture content for being something still so chunky and not totally composted down, but definitely higher moisture content. So you can give things the squeeze test. If I put on my glove here and I pick up some of this composted manure and I squeeze it, you can see it sticks together, right? There's a lot of moisture content in there that's really great for growing stuff. Now, and so you have to balance it. And so I don't want to build a bed solely of compost. That's going to be too dry. But here is my homemade compost, and you can see here that it's still a little powdery. That's normal for compost, but it holds a little bit more moisture than the commercial bought stuff that I made. A little more moisture, but so what you're going to do when you build your bed is you're going to rotate these materials so that no one layer is super thick, so that the ingredients mix together, and that all layers of the soil, where your plant roots are going to be, have access to the high content, the materials that have high moisture content in them, because that's what's going to kickstart all of these things mixing together due to soil organisms, beneficial fungi, beneficial bacteria that churn all of this stuff into a nice, good topsoil for you. But here's the key. Here's the secret ingredient. The secret ingredient that I'm using are these homemade worm castings. Look at this stuff. this stuff is like chocolate cake. This is the goal of topsoil. So worm castings actually right out of the chute, no pun intended. Worm castings are 50% humus, which is the essential ingredient of topsoil. And topsoil, all topsoil is a nice, healthy soil that has a permanent sort of soil moisture to it, right? These worm castings, they're holding on to the soil moisture, and they can hold 2 to 3 times their weight in water, and that's going to help your plants succeed. That's going to help kick off your beds to be super healthy, and that's what's going to help hold in that moisture while your garden bed ingredients are figuring out what they want to be, how they want to be, what they want to be when they grow up. So be cognizant of that. Again, don't do super thick layers of any one material, and don't put the super dry material as a thick layer on top. Now, I am going to top my beds with a light layer of compost, but it's not going to be very deep, because if I made it too deep, it would dry out the things that I plant in it. So, all right, that's it. Moisture in soil is a good thing.